Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Taylor with Boydston Grove, and today we're going to kick off the new year by tackling a viral woodworking project and see if we can't make it just a little bit better. Let's get into it. I've been seeing these key holders all over Facebook and Pinterest lately, and I gotta admit, some of them are pretty cool. So I wanna make a few versions of my own, but I think we can add a few features that will really kick them up a notch.
He's taken it to a whole other level.
I started the first one with a pretty shoddy piece of 1x4. I cut one piece to 12 inches long and another piece to 13 inches long. Then I raided my scrap piles for some 1x material of different lengths and different widths to use as our little houses. I laid everything out and marked my scrap pieces where I wanted the roofs to be. I cut two of the little roofs at 45-degree angles and one at 31.26 degrees, a pretty common stop on most miter saws. I cut two small strips of 1x material and attached them to the back of the smallest house, and this will create a hidden mail slot. The biggest little house had a hole smack dab in the middle of it, so I just filled it with a dowel. To paint the three little houses, I used some Oops paint. I usually grab mine from my local Home Depot for about 50 cents a can. While those were drying, I took some 1/4 inch thick pieces of cedar I had laying around and ripped down some pieces to 1 inch wide and some to 1 1/4 inch wide. Then I cut them to length to use as little doors and roof pieces. Since two of the little houses will be touching, I notched out the roof piece on the lower house so it could overlap the other house and add a little bit more dimension. I felt like the doors were a little boring, so I set up my Haichika rotary tool with its flexible shaft and added some details on each door. So far, I'm pretty happy with this tool. I'll leave links to it, as well as the carving bits that I'm using here, in the description below. I used some 1/16 inch material that I normally use for laser projects, and I cut a bunch of 1 1/4 inch squares and used some paint markers to create little windows. With the houses dry and all the pieces cut, it was time for assembly. I drilled pocket holes in the back of the two larger houses to attach them together and to the base, and in the process I drilled a few on the wrong side of one of the houses. Mistakes were made. What are you gonna do? At least it's on the back. You don't have to have a huge pocket hole machine. One of these mini kits will work just fine. I'll leave a link to the one that I have in the description below. Because the windows were so thin and light, I just used some super glue to attach them. Before attaching the houses, I assembled the base with glue and screws. Last but not least, I added some nice hooks for our keys and a hanger on the back. Alright, I really like the hidden mail slot. The only downside is when there's actually mail in it, it covers up parts of the other houses. So we're going to fix that on our next version. But overall, I think this one came out pretty nice. Let me know what you think of this version in the comments below. Alright, on to the next one. I started the next key holder by cutting a piece of 1x12 to 12 inches long and sticking it into the WeCreate Vision Pro. I found an image of some brownstones online that I liked, and I loaded it into the WeCreate software and burned it onto the board. I decided to try something different and use the Vision Pro to cut the shape out as well, and it handled that 3/4 inch material like a champ. Except for this one little spot, I guess my image outline wasn't quite defined enough right there. After a light sanding, I used some art markers to add color to the buildings. I'll leave a link to the markers that I use in the description below. Out of the same 1x12 material, I cut the back panel, a little shelf, and some wooden strips to make the mail slot. I assembled all these pieces first because I wanted to be able to stain them before adding the houses. After assembly, I used my torch to scorch the surface and then applied a coat of gray stain, really taking my time to wipe it down so the wood grain could really stand out. Once it was dry, I attached the front panel with glue and pin nails. On this key holder, I decided to use some simpler hooks and just attach them to the underside of the shelf. When I was finishing up the assembly for this one, I actually came up with a few more ideas you could do. For instance, you could make this back panel taller than the front panel and add a skyline or additional buildings or a phrase or something. You could also swap out this little shelf for a little box to keep your sunglasses and whatnot in. There's all different kinds of directions you could go with this project. Let me get on my laser engraver soapbox for a minute and just say, for those that love to make things but are not necessarily artistically inclined, a laser engraver can totally change your viewpoint on how you approach projects, like being able to add buildings like this to a project like this. Alright, our key holders are done. As you can see, I went pretty simple on mine, but you can add all kinds of details and really make this project your own. A big shout out and thank you to all our Grove members. Don't forget, it's not only a new year, but a new month, which means new free plans on the membership page. So make sure to go over there and check those out, including our new 4-player Shut the Box plans. Yes, I finally finished the plans for Shut the Box. Way to go! I hope you enjoyed today's project. If you've been seeing any woodworking projects all over the internet and you would like to see us try to tackle them, just let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you very much for watching. Be safe and have a great day.